Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Casey and this is your morning paper talk. It's Wednesday, it's warm outside, it's not raining this time, which is great. And yeah, it's nice and warm, I've got my shorts on. Let's go through today's news. Now obviously we're just going to comment on last night's fixtures. Last night saw the remaining 2 Europa League fixtures, the remaining 2 quarter-finals were played. Shakhtar Donetsk won their game and more importantly, Sevilla beat Wolves in their match, so we will not have to suffer another Wolves fixture in a cup match again. Now, Sevilla won 1-0 with Lucas Ocampos scoring the winner after Raul Jimenez saw his penalty saved in the 13th minute. Now, Sevilla are a good side. We've faced them in European competitions quite recently. They knocked us out in the Champions League final. Not Champions League final. They knocked us out in the Champions League. Well, we haven't got to a final for a while. Now, last time we met, and they've got the pedigree in the Europa League, winning it 3 times in a row under Unai Emery before he made that ill-fated move to Arsenal. So obviously they're going to be dangerous. Some danger men to point out that we'll obviously get into in the preview, but we'll have a little bit of chat of that now. Lucas Ocampos obviously scored last night. Now has 17 goals in all competitions this season for Sevilla. You've also got Munir El Haddadi, we'll go with Haddadi. He's their top scorer in the Europa League so far with 5 goals. I think he's the top scorer that remains in the competition after Bruno Fernandes, who is currently on 7 goals. And at left back they have Sergio Reguilon, who is obviously a transfer target reportedly for Everton and Chelsea. He's very good going forward. He has 2 goals and 4 assists this season for Sevilla. So Sevilla are a good outfit. They're obviously already qualified for the Champions League. They're just in it the same as us for the idea of they want to win a trophy this season. So we need to be careful when we come into that fixture, which is coming up on Sunday. So, into today's news. Paul Pogba put out a tweet yesterday that said tomorrow and then had the eye emojis. Now obviously when someone does something as ambiguous as that, it sends your fans into meltdown. Now, Paul Pogba came out a bit later on and said that it wasn't anything to do with football. And Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that it wasn't everything to do with football. Many people are thinking, oh, is he going to announce a new contract? It doesn't seem to be the case. But Fabrizio Romano has said that United are willing and want to start discussing a new contract with Mino Raiola for Paul Pogba. Now, this is a long way from where we were at the start of the season, where it seemed that Paul Pogba wanted to leave Old Trafford because he wasn't sure that we were a title-winning outfit. We weren't going to be competing. We weren't anything like that. But obviously, since the lockdown, he's come into the team. He's slotted in well with Bruno Fernandes. And Nemanja Matic in that midfield three. And we've seen some of his best football against Copenhagen. On Monday night, we saw him control the midfield. He was very good at playing the ball, and he was very good at opening up space for his teammates in order to create the chances. So I think that seeing him with a new contract will make sure our midfield three is very solid going into next season. So I'm hoping that the rumours that he's going to be discussing new contracts are true, and hopefully he'll sign it going into next season. Going into some more news, United... Well, this is from ESPN, not from a very reputable ESPN source. If you look at the tier lists, it's a bit further down. But we'll go into it because obviously the Jadon Sancho deal we've been talking about a lot on Paddock. Jay was talking about it yesterday on the news. We've got the situation where United have apparently agreed personal terms. That's all confirmed, but it's just a fee. But I want to talk about this more in sense of what it could mean for United. United are apparently looking at alternatives. One of these that ESPN have reported is Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. Now, he's very injury prone. He obviously didn't play much this season. He only made 5 appearances and 3 of those were off the bench, scoring 1 goal. The season before, however, he did score 8 goals and make 5 assists in La Liga. Now, the reason that Ousmane Dembele is an interesting target is because he was the original Jadon Sancho. At Dortmund, in his 1 season at Dortmund, he registered 12 assists. It was a high number of assists. And the situation that we're seeing now with Jadon Sancho is very similar to the one that Barcelona saw with Ousmane Dembele when he moved there. Dortmund didn't want to play ball. They were saying that we're not going to sell him for anything less than our price. It's not going to move if it doesn't happen. And then apparently the money was paid in installments, probably because that's how Barcelona seem to do their business. And in a way that Dortmund was saying, and then he was sold. But there was a very similar situation. They were saying, oh, we're not selling. He's on our pre-season. We're not going to get rid of him and sort that. But then it seemed to turn out and happen. So I think that's a very interesting way to look at it, is that situation back then was very similar to the one with Jadon Sancho. But if it does turn out that we have to look at alternatives, Ousmane Dembele, if he can stay fit, is a very creative option. He's a very good dribbler. He can play on the left or the right. And I think it's the sort of player we should be looking at if we're not getting Sancho, basically. That sort of creative winger. The Jadon Sancho stuff, as we said, is all seemingly in the air at the moment. We're just waiting on that fee to be confirmed. That's that sort of thing. But it's looking like that is the sort of area we are looking at and prioritising in this transfer window. And other things, we have Fabrizio Romano. Obviously, he's always replying to people, so he's always talking about it. Said that the Alex Telles that might have been going around, there's nothing on that. It's not seem to be looking at a left back. So as we said, there's a similar timeline between Dembele and Sancho. And let's just talk about that timeline with Sancho. Let's just give a rounded update on what seems to have been happening. United are apparently in talks with Jadon Sancho through a third-party agent. Now, this is apparently been frustrating United because they can't talk directly to Dortmund on it, and this is causing the negotiations to be slow. Apparently, Dortmund said that their price is 120 million. They don't want to go 120 million euros. They don't want to go any lower than that. That is the price that they want for the player. That is the money that they want in total for Jadon Sancho. Now, Jadon Sancho has a contract that runs for another 2 years. If they do not sell this summer, that means that his contract next year will be for 1 year, and that means that usually they'd get a reduced price for the player. So it seemingly means that this season is the best time they can get the price for the player. Now, Fabrizio Romano, as I said, came out and said that personal team terms are all agreed. There's a contract till 2025 on the table. All that's sorted. Agent fees, player fees, all that is nailed on. It is just the fee with Dortmund. Now, recently, Christian Falk's come out and said that we have an offer that was rejected was 60 million euros with all the rest paid in add-on initial fee. That's a bit low. I feel like we're going to go higher than that if we're going to sign the player to begin with. It seems to be that Dortmund are in a position where they need to sell to get the best price. But one of the dangers I feel with Jadon Sancho is that Dortmund could easily wait till next year, because if people are getting money again and we're getting TV rights, there's going to be a lot more people in for Jadon Sancho, I feel, with 1 year left on his contract, which could push the price back up to their 100 million, 120 million estimate. If you wait till next year, you probably have Liverpool wanting to recycle one of their front three. You might have Real Madrid thinking that they can put big money in. You might have Bayern Munich sniffing around. You might have that sort of situation where there are a lot of people who have money who want to spend that money, and then a bidding war starts and you just end up in a mess of bids and problems, and it's just a bit of a messy situation. So hopefully what will happen is United will find an agreement, and feel like that is what United want to do, and if they end up paying the money, it'll probably be in a higher initial fee with smaller installments. That's all for the news that we have today. Later on, we've got Howson and McCullough. Howson and McCullough, 4 p.m. Be there. Don't miss it. It'll be fun. Like, they'll have a laugh. They'll have a chat. They'll talk a lot of rubbish. But in terms of Paper Talk, enjoy the rest of the day of the sun. Drink your water. Remember, that's my important message today. Drink water, because it is boiling and you will dehydrate if you don't. So if you don't listen to anything else I've said today, listen to that. I've been Casey. This has been Stretford Paddock. I will see you next time.